What is going on YouTube? Hit back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at the current coin market cap, as well as addressing the very interesting spike that we just saw within the market. As you guys know, yesterday's video was basically discussing that we were seeing the correction that was expected, and now we're actually seeing an immediate rise right after that downfall. We shot up from $10,200, fell all the way down to $9,700 and some change, and now we're right back up to $10,200, $10,300. And this is some very interesting moves. The market is practically all over the place, and there's a lot of inconsistency in the market, and that's very interesting to see that because it shows that the market does have means to move up much higher very quickly. So I want to spend quite a bit of time in today's video discussing the market, discussing why we're seeing these pumps right now, and then where we could be headed in the near future. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up, and let's jump into today's episode. So as you guys can see this morning, I did drop a new video. This was in similarity to DueDEX. This is another exchange where you can short and buy long cryptocurrencies. So if you were interested in this and you wanted some different variation in regards to exchanges to use, definitely make sure to check that out. Otherwise, yesterday's video was in discussion to the fact that we were seeing the downtrend starting to happen. We were seeing that correction that was expected. And then you can see by what I drew, I was anticipating some sort of bounce off of support followed by an immediate movement to the upside. Ultimately, we're starting to see that movement now, which is quite interesting, happening a lot quicker than expected. But I want to give you guys my 2 cents on that as to why you guys might not realize what exactly is going on and what would actually be going to happen in the near future. So otherwise, let's just jump into the technical analysis. You can see on the current coin market cap tops and cryptos, everything is practically in green. Bitcoin up only 3% if you really think about it. Ethereum up 5.9. We have Tezos up 10, a little over 10%, double digits. But for the most part, markets are consolidating. Literally, when we fell, or the lowest point that we fell to, we literally went right back up to the price that we started at prior to the correction. Other than that, XRP is the only one that really got hit hard by the correction lower. So I do just want to jump into the technical analysis. We'll focus on XRP for right now, then we'll jump onto the other cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, and some of the other ones. But you can clearly see what exactly is happening. When you're looking at XRP, it's mainly just the consolidation, which is what I've been calling. It was a clear support. It was a clear 26-cent support. You've seen in the past, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, candle wicks below here are at that line, followed by an immediate correction to the upside. So it is very, very, very prominent to see that. Ultimately, all we're really doing is lowering ourselves from the overbought point at about 76 on the RSI back down to where we're currently at around 68. And we're really not much lower. It's just the fact that we've had all this time under our belt. It allows us to lower the RSI and allow us to proceed higher in the near future. Now, ultimately, I do anticipate to see a much longer consolidation due to the fact that if I just show you guys a date range, you can see this consolidation was about 11 days. And you can see we've only had about 6 days now of consolidation, and 11 basically pulls us all the way down or back to the uptrend. So merely what I'm looking for is some more consolidation, maybe another 4 or 5 days of sideways movement on the market within XRP to eventually hit the support, and then I expect to see that break. Clearly at 28 cents, there's a strong resistance, and the price is not wanting to go above there. The bears are definitely holding their grounds right there, and they're not letting the price shoot up. But I think the second we retest this uptrend and this support line, we're going to see a break above that 28 cents and head immediately to 30 cents. Obviously, long-term predictions are much higher. To give you guys a quick run back for those of you that are new to the channel, I do believe we are still headed back up to as high as 36 cents and in between 82 cents. I know that's a massive gap, but conservatively, a retestment in between our high-low middle moving averages is necessary in a conservative approach. And then I do believe that in regards to a more FOMO standpoint, we could easily hit $1 to $2 very easily with that movement like we saw back in 2017. Now, I do believe ultimately we are still headed up. You can see that we are still on this uptrend. There's a clear resistance at 30 cents, but we are now outside of this resistance right here. So there's a very high chance we're going to continue to climb upwards now that we've officially entered a bull market on XRP. So short term, expect to see a couple more days of consolidation. Long term, we're obviously still very bullish. Now to jump into Bitcoin. Why I like to talk about Bitcoin more than some of the other cryptos, mainly because DueDEX, the trading platform that I like to use, only has support for Bitcoin right now, but I do believe very soon they're going to be adding some other cryptocurrencies. You can clearly see my interest. That's why I was anticipating us to head a little bit lower, mainly because we only just ever so tapped being underbought. I mean, we were overbought, and now we're just slightly under that valuation, trading at 65 on the RSI. I was anticipating a much lower pull, and you can see where we've set these higher lows. I'm pretty certain that this is not going to be the fourth higher low. I do believe we're going to head right back down fairly soon. If we don't, I'd be shocked. Because I mentioned in yesterday's video that I would be buying in on the fourth higher low when we do come into contact with this support. You can see usually every time we do that, we usually extend down to about, I'd say, 56 to 50 on the RSI. The last point was about 59, and just yesterday or the day before, we only hit about 64, so I anticipated a much lower movement. Now notice this is just mere consolidation, just with a wider gap in regards to where the coins are playing around with. Notice that this is still a very strong resistance on the market. You can see clearly where I've drawn in supports and resistances. This is a very strong channel where the price has had a ton of history with. You can see previous support being retested, support being retested, support up here, support up here. You can see it's also acting as a resistance right here. And now we're in between here. So I do believe we're going to act as a resistance once again. We are now once again nearing overbought, about to enter overbought. That's why the price is consolidating lower. Very high chance we're pretty much not going to stay at this price for long. I do believe we're going to consolidate back down. So once again, that opens another opportunity to short the market potentially. Now, this is a little more risky due to the fact that we immediately shot back up, but I'm still kind of leaning towards a movement like this and then a break. I think this is just one of 3 days of consolidation. You can see very easily that it takes about 12 days for Bitcoin to consolidate out, 8 days here before we pretty much make that run and make that pump. You can see the third one, let me get the candle wick, is right here. This was about 8 days. So about 8 to 11 days do we have consolidation, and we only have, I would say, maybe 3 to start, if not 2 days to start with the current market after this uptrend that we saw right here. And if you notice the gains that we have, the price range that we jump is fairly similar. The first one I could say is about 18%. I mean, we could stretch it to 28, but I don't think that would be accurate. The second one after that 18% jump was about a 13% jump. And now this most recent one is once again around a 13% jump. So you can see after a 13% gain, we have about 8 days of consolidation. We've pretty much only entered about 2 so far. So we do have these very odd movements right here, but in the long term, we end up consolidating back down to support. So it's really not going to be much of a profit made if you, let's say, bought at 95 and sold down at around 91. I mean, it's a $400 drop. Yes, there is money to be made there if you leverage, but I do believe that it's going to be a lot more risky, and I don't like to get involved in risky plays. So mainly I'm going to be waiting for one of 2 things to happen. Either we're going to see the consolidation and we're going to hit here, and once we retest this support right here, setting a 4th higher low, I will be buying long, expecting to see a break above the resistance. Now, the second option, which is what could potentially happen fairly soon, is if we can close today's candle or a candle above the resistance of $10,000. If we, let's say today we managed to close today's candle up at like 10,500 or up at 10,300, very high chance we could be extending the market and shooting up even higher and expecting to see a very big jump like we've seen in the past right here, where ultimately, yes, this was more of an uptrend, but you can see for the most part we were not even overbought until maybe this point. So if you bought in here expecting this to be the end of the run at 9,500, you would have missed out on the massive leap that we shot all the way up to 13. So this whole market right here from 95 all the way up to 13.7 was all overbought, but we would have missed out on this expecting to see us being overbought. So ultimately, there's still a ton of profit to be made in an overbought market. You can see that that is still a possibility here. We could literally just shoot up right here. We could easily catapult all the way up to 13K very easily, and I would have said don't buy because we were nearing the overbought market on the RSI. So you have to consider that and weigh that in. That's why we're really looking at this resistance. If we can see a break above here and we can close the candle above the resistance, very high chance we're just going to continue to, extend up. To give you reference, if we look right here, you can see this is when we entered overbought. So just to give you guys a quick comparison, so we would have drawn a resistance. I mean, we don't have much to go off of in the past. About 13K is where we would draw the resistance. So or about 93. So if we drew a hot horizontal line right about here, I believe, we will check this out in a second. You can see where these are all resistances in the past. And if you scroll us a little bit forward, you can see right here where we would assume this is overbought. You can see we were retesting the overbought level. And then the second we started to head up into here, the second we saw the confirmation, even though we were still entering overbought, just in the fact that we broke above this resistance where we were overbought gives me certainty to believe that we're going to head up even higher in the overbought market. So even if we are overbought, don't just look at that. Consider the resistances. If we can close a candle like we did, this very small candle closed above resistance, that was a great sign that we were going to continue to rally up even higher. So that's merely what I'm looking for right now. I'm looking at this comparison. If we can break above this resistance and we can close the candle above there, very high chance we're going to continue to head higher up. If we don't, there's a good chance we're going to consolidate back down. But regardless, I am still very bullish on the market. If you don't want to get involved with all that, you can still be holding on to Bitcoin long term for the next 3 or 4 months and still make profit. But for those people that like to get in and get out like I do, consider DueDEX. We're waiting on a long position very soon. I'm not going to short the market just right now because I think it would be foolish to trade around that quickly, even though I believe that this is going to drop very, very soon. I do believe that we are going to see a bullish run, and we're just waiting right now to buy in long. Obviously, if you guys do want to help support the channel, definitely make sure to sign up down below. It's the first link in the description to check out DueDEX. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. I know we didn't go over Litecoin and Ethereum today, but there really wasn't much movement. You guys can just compare that Litecoin is still trending within its resistances and channel. And then Ethereum, yes, having a massive breakout to the upside is very odd, clearly hitting another resistance right here. We'll see where this goes. Very high chance you're going to see even more consolidation and correction back to the downside within Ethereum. But yeah, I will see you guys in tomorrow's episode. Peace.